Hi, this video is to review your degree progress, whether you are doing a certificate or an associate's degree, local to then go out and work or to transfer on to get a bachelor's degree. This video will outline the process that the counselors use to determine if you fulfilled all the requirements or if you have any courses left. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you have all the necessary documents. And the documents you would need is your unofficial transcript, the GE option from the entry or exit catalog year, and this would be if you're doing an associate's degree, and also your major program sheet, again, from the catalog entry or exit year. And if you are transferring, you will also probably want to use assist.org. And I will walk you through all of these steps. What I'm talking about when I say entry or exit catalog year is related to catalog rights. So if you have continuously been taking at least one course at Solano or another accredited college, each academic year from the first semester you started, you would have catalog rights back to that first academic year. So if you started in fall of 2017 and you continued to take a course in fall or spring of 2018-19, or fall or spring of 2019 and 2020, then you would have had consistent attendance and would have the rights for the catalog back to 17-18. If you happen to take a break of a year or longer, so let's say if you went to school in 17-18, but then you took a break in 18-19 and started back up again in fall of 19, that break means you would lose the catalog rights back to 17-18, and you would have to start with the catalog rights for 19-20. And for many times, there isn't a big difference. The only time this really matters is if the program has gone through a change and has different requirements. So if you're unsure, you can always look at your transcript to make sure that there wasn't any break. Also, you could also just use the exit year or the last semester. So if you think you might be graduating in spring of 2021, then you can use the 2021 catalog year rights as your guide. That part's kind of up to you. So you would want, again, unofficial transcript, your GE option sheet if you're doing an associate's degree, in your major program sheet from the catalog. So the first thing you have to figure out is, what are you actually trying to obtain? Are you wanting a certificate? Are you wanting an associate's degree? And do you want that associate's degree to transfer to a four-year college? Because that will determine what GE option you look at, and will also determine the major requirements that you need. So here is, it's kind of fuzzy, but here are all of the programs and degrees and certificates that are being offered for the year 2021. And you can see across the top that it'll have a check mark if there's an associate's degree, a check mark if it offers a certificate of achievement, and then it will have a check mark and a plus if it also offers an associate's degree for transfer. So as you are thinking about the classes you've taken or that you're wanting to achieve, you'd want to match that up with the degrees and certificates that are offered at the school. This is in the catalog on, I believe, page 83 for the catalog year 2021. And that's where you're gonna find the major and program sheets as well. As you look at the GE option, so again, as a reminder, if you do a certificate, it means you would complete the major related courses, the topic related that is specific to that program. So if you were doing a certificate in accounting, you would take just the accounting courses and get in a certificate. If you decided you wanted to do an associate degree, that means you would take those major related courses plus your general education, which is a mix and match of a lot of different types of classes, such as English and math and science and maybe music or philosophy. It has a lot of different courses in addition to the major related courses. So this is where you would also want to match up the associate's degree that you are obtaining with what your educational goal is and what the program offers. So if you, again, I'll go back. If you wanted an accounting degree, that would be an associate's degree, and that's our local degree. So that means you would do option A. If you want to transfer or do an associate for transfer degree, then you'd want to make sure that you're using option B or C. Option B, which they call I Get C, is for general education courses that will transfer to a UC or CSU, as well as many private and HBCUs. The option C will transfer just to the CSUs in addition to some of the private schools. So you want to make sure that you're following the correct option for the correct associate's degree that you want. Anything that is an associate's degree for transfer, you would have to use this. There's also some other associate degrees, and again, it will show you on the major sheet for the program which option you're allowed to use, and I'll show you where that's at as well. And again, just as a reminder, what UC and CSU means. So the UC is the University of California system. That's part of the state of California's public school system. There are 9 of those, and they are more research focused. The California State University system is 23 schools. Those also have research, but also have more of a practical focus. So you're going to find more psychology or child development type courses, whereas the UCs, you might have a more research focus for those topics and not as much of practical or hands-on. And then of course, there are 70 plus colleges in California and many, many more out of state that are what are considered independent or private colleges. So now let's do an example. So as I mentioned, there's a few documents that you need: your unofficial transcript that you obtain through your My Solano portal and go to the transcript section. And then you also need the degree or program information for whatever degree you want to obtain, as well as your GE sheet. So the first part is the program or degree. And I'm going to start here through the catalog, and you'll see what is listed first is the current year catalog, 2021, which you're welcome to use. If you feel as though it would be better for you to use your entry year catalog, that's right here in the prior catalog years. And as you can see, we have many, many years listed. But I will stick with pretending I'm doing an exit catalog year, and I will do catalog 2021. So I think I want to get my business degree. Those are the classes that I have been taking towards that degree, and I want to see how far along I am with that. So again, the program lists are going to be in this section too. And like I said, I believe it is around page 83. And then if I'm looking for the business program, I'm going to look in section 3 and scroll through until I find business. And one good thing to remember is that some programs have 2 different degrees. Business is one of those as an example. So we have our business administration for transfer degree. And then we also have our general business associate's degree. So as you're picking your GE sheet to go along with this, this is where you're going to need to read over the information listed on the program sheet. And in this one, it's saying that you have to use the CSU or IGETC patterns in order to complete this particular degree. So that would be option B or C. The colors were the purple or the green. If you decided that you wanted to go out and work, maybe you're going to transfer later, maybe that's not part of your plan, that's where you would use this GE sheet, Solano General Education, our local sheet, which is option A, that's the yellow one. But actually there is still the option that you can use the CSU or the IGETC pattern. So in this particular one, for this degree, you have the option of using either option A, B, or C. So it's very important to review that and look over what it is that you're supposed to be completing. So I have downloaded my unofficial transcript. I have identified what my major courses are. I'm going to do the associate for transfer in business. And then I think I might want to transfer to UC Davis. So I would like to use the option B, IGETC sheet. So I also need to find that. There's a couple different ways of finding that. One is in the catalog here. And again, that would be in the option, or excuse me, section 2. The other place to look for that is in the transfer center. So I've already pulled that up, but it's solano.edu/transfer. And you would go down here to the general education section. And you'll see that it has the CSU and the IGETC sheets. It doesn't have the option A. The option A you would need to get from the catalog. So now that I have downloaded all the necessary documents, I'll walk you through what it might look like to do some of the matching. So I have my transcript. First thing you want to do is make sure that the major that you have on file with admissions and records is the actual degree that you want. If it isn't, I would suggest turning in a change of information or a change of major form, and those forms are available off of the admissions and records forms section off the website. Then scroll down, and I've already done a little bit of pre-work. The first thing I did was I went through and I highlighted, to make sure that I didn't include it, any course that had a number system over 100. So again, as a reminder, in my story, I would like to transfer, and I also want to transfer to a UC Davis in particular. The UCs will only allow transferable courses that have a number from 0 to 99. So this is 104. I can't use this to transfer to UC Davis. Now, if I decided I wanted to get the other business degree and I needed 60 units, because all associate's degrees need 60 units, and I was going to use the option A, the local GE, I could use this. But if I want to go to a UC, I won't be able to use it. If I wanted to go to a CSU, same thing. It only is numbers, for CSUs, it's 0 through 99, and for UCs, it's actually 0 through 49. So I've highlighted that to remind myself that I'm not going to include that. And then I also went through and looked at any courses where, it didn't do so great, and I got an F. I would also mark anything that you received a D. Again, depending on if you want to transfer, what you received the D in and where you want to transfer, it may or may not be eligible. So you might have to put a question mark near those. So if anything that is major related, so history, unless you're a history major, this would be a general education course usually, that would not be acceptable. If this were a D, I might be able to use it if I'm graduating and going out to work, or if I'm graduating with my associates and I want to transfer to a CSU. UCs may not take Ds, and especially if it's part of English, math, or part of your major, they will also not take Ds. So I've highlighted this since this one was an F, so I would have to look at a different course or repeat that one. and any W. So if you withdrew from the class, obviously you didn't complete it. So that would also not work. So I've just gone through and found any courses that were above the 99, or excuse me, in this case, above 49. So this one will not transfer to a UC. I can use it for general education units if I want to transfer to a CSU, and if I want to just get an associate's degree and head out to work and not transfer. So I've highlighted all those. And then the other thing that you want to take note of is removing the number of units that won't count, and then still making sure that everything adds up to 60 units or more. If you're transferring, it can be up to 70 that you can transfer over. In this case, there's a couple extra classes that I've decided to take, so I'm not quite done, but this will help me understand if I need to take classes for fall. So I've got my transcript and I've reviewed that initially. And basically what I'll be doing is just kind of going then course by course and determining if I have completed all the courses. So the first thing I'll do is go through the GEs. So I picked the IGETC, the option B, because I want to transfer to a UC. And the first class that I saw on my transcript was Cinema 10. So that's a general education because I want business. Most of the classes in my major will be business related. There might be a couple extra math or economics, but if we look at it, we will see that most of the courses, business, accounting, economics, math, computer science. So that gives me an idea. If I see something else, it's probably general education related. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over that. So I saw Cinema 10. I'm going to go to my general education, and then I'm going to just look through and see if I find Cinema 10. And I do. I actually see it here. So I'm using Adobe, so I'm gonna highlight that. And I'm also just gonna put in a number 3 because that's 3 units here. So then I'm gonna continue on to the next one, economics. Oh, and I should point out that for the GE sheets here, it has all of the instructions on how many you have to take. So area 1, English area, it says you have to take this course, you have to take this course, and then the oral composition only if I decide to go to a CSU. And I'm not sure if I am, so I don't have to worry about that one right now. Then the next section, it says complete 1 course of math. And then down here, it says complete 3 courses, 1 from 3A, 1 from 3B, and 1 from either one of them. So I've just noted that I've completed 1 from 3A. So let's see what else I have. So my next course is going to be Econ 1. So I'll go back to my GE sheet and look through. And I see Econ 1 here. So I'm going to highlight that. And I believe that was also 3 units, yes. So I'm just going to put another 3 here. And again, I'm going to go back and if you want to highlight it along the way or make some other notation, that's great. Here I've got English 1. I remember already seeing that on the GE sheet. It was back up at the top. So I'm going to highlight that. I've completed that. And that one is 4 units. Oops, that's tiny, but that's okay. And then I'm going to keep going. So again, we're going to skip the history and the LR10. Yes, I can mark that as it's not really on the GE sheets, but I'll make note that that's 1 extra unit that I can use towards my full on 60. And then we're going to go down here and I see Bio 12 and 12L. And the biology, sciences, looks like it's on this side. So I've got Bio 12 I'm going to highlight. And here as well. And again, let me take a look to remind myself how many units those were. That was 3 and 1.5. So I'm going to do 3 and then 1.5. Oops, that's okay. And then I'm going to keep going. And CIS 1. So then I'm going to go back here and look for CIS 1. And I don't see CIS 1 on here. So that tells me it's probably because I had to take it for my major. That's why I was taking that class. So I'm going to switch back over to the business class. And yep, what do you know? Here's the computer science course there. So that tells me I've taken that class. Oops, and we will highlight that one as done. So I'm not going to finish the rest of this because that might take a little long and that might be a little boring, but I think you guys get the idea. So basically, it truly is just going course by course, looking at the GE option. If you find it, mark it down and make sure you note how many units it was. Then make sure that you also have completed all the courses here. And here it gives you the full instruction. So it's going to tell you, in order to do the associate's degree for business administration for transfer, you have to complete 60 units. You have to either do the general education for the IGETC or CSU. I chose the IGETC. And then a minimum of the 18 units for the major concentration. And as we look down here, it's actually 27 units. So it absolutely fully outweighs that. So between taking all of these courses and completing the general education, it should equate to at least 60. And one other thing that I should point out is it says that 9 units may be double counted. If you'll remember, I had already counted my Econ 1 here for my general education area 4. Well, it just so happens that Econ is also required as part of the major, Econ 1. So it's saying that I can double count those units. So I can double count it for the major and for the general education. But again, all the total units, so if I still have to equal to 60. In this particular case, a lot of times students will take Econ 1, Econ 2, and Math 11, which if you add those up, you'll see actually equals 10. That's totally fine. You can still double count those classes. They'll just only double count 9 of them instead of 10. So you have to remember that part of it. So as you go through, when you finish off, note, are there any lines that are missing? That would be a course that you would still need to take. Similarly, for your general education, if I look at my transcript, did I take Econ 2? I can't remember. Yes, I did. So that's Econ 2. So that would be fulfilled a second area here. And I also, let's see, looks like there's a history class or music class that I could also possibly use. I could use the history class here. And sometimes you're going to see that there's history here, and then there's also history here. So sometimes you have to look over your classes and figure out, well, where's the better section to put it? Do I already have enough here? Or do I need to use it for here or not? And this is not just a great idea for planning or for reviewing your courses, but it's great for planning your courses. So you can see how you might be able to strategize and make the most of the courses that you take. So the last part of this is noting if anything is missing or if it's completed for the GE and also the major, but then also, if you're transferring, you're probably going to want to check out assist.org and see if there's anything that the transfer school wants. So by evaluating this and completing what's on here, you will have met the requirements to get an associate's degree here. and you can petition for graduation. But if you're wanting to transfer, the transfer school might want you to have something else. So that's where sometimes you'll need to go to assist.org and see if it's the same as what's already being requested at Solano, or if you have to do a few extra classes. So assist.org is an articulation system that will help you find out what different CSUs and UCs want if you transfer to their school, and it will show you what the numbers are at Solano that's the same class. So if I am a business major at Solano and I want to transfer to UC Davis, I have to look at what Davis might want for me transferring there. And something good to remember is sometimes the majors are called something different. So if I want to be a business major at UC Davis, it might be that I have to be an economics major because that's the closest thing. So I pick my academic year, I pick the institution that I'm going to right now, which is Solano, and then I find the school, and you'll see all of the CSUs and all the UCs are listed here. So if there's a bunch of schools that you're interested in, I would pick it for each one. Now, the assist system is still being updated. So right now it even says 2021 isn't available, 1920 is going to be shown. But not all of that is updated. So sometimes you have to dig backwards. And I will show you how to figure that out. So what you are looking for is agreements by major. As you can see, it's grayed out. It only has the agreements by department. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go backwards in time to about 2016-17 so that I can get the major agreement, so I can know specifically for my major what I might have to take. And now the major agreements are popping up. But if I scroll through here, it doesn't list business. So I keep scrolling through and look at what's the closest thing that might be related to business, economics. So I'll pick economics, and then I'll view the agreement. So what UC Davis would like me to take if I want to transfer with my associates for transfer in business is, looks like a little bit more math. So on the left-hand side, these are the courses at UC Davis. So if I had started at UC Davis as a freshman, they would have wanted me to take these in the first 2 years. These are what the courses are called at Solano. So it wants me to take Econ 1 and 2. Well, that's convenient because so does the business degree. So I've already got those out of the way. It would also like me to take Math 11, Statistics, and I believe I have taken that. And then it also wants me to take, this is where it's getting a little confusing. I've got some ors and ands, Math 20 or 30, Math 21 or 31, so the 20 series, or Math 2021. So to make things simple, maybe I'll just follow down here and do the 20 series. I have not taken Math 20 or 21, so I need to add that to my list of courses to take in the future. And it says students considering graduate study should strongly take 22 and 40. Well, I don't know if I'm there yet, so I'm not going to worry about those two classes. So you want to look at assist.org to make sure that you have the other courses, sometimes a little bit of extra. As you saw, the econ courses were the same. So a lot of times the majors at Solano try to mirror what a lot of the schools want, but some schools are different and might want you to take a little bit extra or more. So that would be the third part of it. And again, that's only if you are wanting to transfer, and more specifically transfer to a UC or CSU. Now, again, this one was from the year 16-17. I highly, highly, highly recommend going to the UC Davis website and looking at the names of the courses that they require their students to take. Or if you're going to a private school, call their admissions or call the department directly and ask if there's any transfer articulation lists already on their school website so that you can see what you might need to take. Sometimes they don't have it and you just have to submit your transcripts to them, but sometimes they have it ahead of time and they'll let you know. So that's pretty much it. Again, your favorite tools for trying to figure out what classes to take or to figure out if you've completed your degree, again, are your own transcript, which you would get through your My Solano portal, the catalog, which is right off the front page, You just scroll down, and that would include the current year catalog, anything prior, and then also the GE sheets for an associate's degree. And that too you can get from the catalog here or the transfer center. In the catalog, you will find it, I think I said it was in section 2. So I'm just going to click on section 2. And sometimes you just have to scroll through because it's one big old PDF. You just have to kind of scroll through. Oh, and there they are. So here's your option A. This is the only place that this one will be. Option B and C will be here or in the Transfer Center website. And the B and C option on the Transfer Center website, as you saw, were fillable forms. So if you like that option, you can do that as well. If you happen to have courses from another community college in California, you can pretty much do the same thing with the general education. So just as we had those GE sheets, every single California community colleges has their own, and we have what is called reciprocity. So if you took a class at Napa Valley College that was listed in their option B section, so if I were to go down here, and this is the CSU one. So if you took a class at Napa Valley College, go to their catalog, and you're probably going to find a form that looks very similar to this, except it's going to say Napa Valley College on it. But if you took a biology course and on their section for area B, it said you took a bio class, maybe it's called Bio 14 there, or Bio 36 there, and we don't have that listed. But at Napa Valley College, it's listed in their area. We have reciprocity. So if it fulfilled the B2 area at Napa Valley College, we will also accept it at Solano. In most cases, there might be some exceptions. So that's another great way that you can figure out what you've taken in other schools. And so that way, what you don't have to fulfill at Solano, but can transfer over here to complete the associate's degree if you want it here. If you have any other questions, of course, you can always call counseling, which is 707-864-7101. I highly recommend going through this process because it will make your counseling appointment when you do see a counselor that much faster and easier for you, and you can get down more into the depth of any questions you might have. If you don't, then the counselor ends up having to do everything that I just did during your counseling appointment because that's the only time they have, and it might take up time for other questions that you might have. But otherwise, I hope everybody has a great day, and thanks for watching.